Batman is my all-time favorite superhero. My reasoning for picking Batman as my favorite superhero is a list so long I could dedicate a video series to it. All I could say here is that I admire how Batman has been able to accomplish so much without any superpowers. One of my favorite ways to experience the character is through the Batman Arkham Games. Now, I have made old, crappy videos before in the past about the Arkham series, but I decided to visit this series one more time by ranking all 4 games from worst to best. Before I begin, I need to address a few things. 1. This video will not contain Arkham Origins Blackgate because I haven't played it, and 2. This is just my opinion. You can disagree all you want, which is fine, just don't be a brat about it. With that out of the way, let's begin with... Arkham Knight is a strange case for me, as I really liked it when I first played it, but the more time that went by and the more time I had to think about it, the less I liked this game. As a whole, Arkham Knight is a disappointing conclusion to the franchise. The Arkham games usually have awesome boss battles and fun side missions, but most of the bosses in Arkham Knight are bland and uninspired. The side missions are tedious and repetitive and become boring real fast. The story behind Arkham Knight revolves around the mysterious identity of the Arkham Knight. I was hooked by the mystery at first, not knowing who it was, but then Batman had his flashbacks to Jason Todd, who was tortured and killed by the Joker, and it became blatantly obvious that he was the Arkham Knight. Apparently it's worse for big comic book fans who are more familiar with the Batman comics than I am, because they knew who the Arkham Knight was from the beginning due to their knowledge of the Batman comics. The Batmobile was introduced in this game as a playable feature, and the reaction was mixed, to say the least. The Batmobile was overused to the point where it got old fast. I just want to clarify, I don't hate this game, not at all. There are things I like about Arkham Knight. The graphics are amazing. This is the best looking game in the franchise, hands down. The map in this game is the biggest of them all, and the ending is awesome, regardless of the 100% completion problem. Despite its overuse, the Batmobile looks and sounds awesome and controls incredibly well. Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker are on top as always, and there is one boss I actually like. The Excavator boss is actually pretty thrilling and challenging, like all good bosses should be. The Fear multi-takedown is the best addition to this game. It allows you to take down multiple enemies at a time. It's awesome and helpful. As a game, Arkham Knight is decent, but as the swan song for the Arkham franchise, it's a huge letdown. It could have been worse, but it could have been better at the same time. Arkham Knight had potential, but unfortunately, it doesn't achieve it. Oh boy, this part of the video is going to be controversial. I know many will consider it blasphemous to put Arkham Asylum this low on the ranking, so let me clarify. I really like Arkham Asylum. It's a solid game that introduced this franchise and proved to the game industry that's possible to make a good superhero game. So, given that, why is this game so low on the ranking? Well, in my opinion, Arkham Asylum hasn't aged the best. It didn't age horribly, but just not the best. In hindsight, the game is incredibly limited in scale and presentation. One problem I have with this game that I feel gets so overlooked by its fans is that the game's story is so mediocre. There's nothing special about it, especially when you consider this came out 1 year after The Dark Knight. I will admit that's impressive that Rocksteady made this game considering the limitations they faced during development, but that doesn't change that it hasn't aged as well as the others. It's not a bad game, I do play it when I'm in the mood, and I do enjoy playing it. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea from this, but I have to be honest with this video nonetheless. At least we can all agree that Arkham Asylum is better than Arkham Knight. As if placing Arkham Asylum as the second weakest game in the franchise wasn't controversial enough, here's Arkham Origins as second best. Boy, the comments are going to be fun. I honestly think Arkham Origins is underappreciated. Is it a masterpiece? No, but it still gets more hate than it deserves. For the sake of fairness, I'll list everything about Arkham Origins I don't like. The graphics are meh. They're not an eyesore by any means, but they look a bit unfinished. Just a bit. There's very little to no variation from Arkham City, and as for the story, it's contrived how Bane conveniently forgets Batman's secret identity due to using a new Venom formula. I'm really annoyed about how the story makes a big deal out of the 8 assassins going after a bounty on Batman's head, but 2 of them get pushed to nothing but side missions. It makes me ask, what's the point of them being there? Now that the bad stuff's out of the way, here's the good stuff. Arkham Origins has an awesome atmosphere, created with the music, the blizzard in the background, and the lighting. It's haunting and beautiful. Despite its flaws, I really like the story. I like how James Gordon doesn't trust Batman at first, but then grows to find a need for Batman in a place like Gotham. Batman also learns how to loosen up a bit. At the beginning, he's tough and stern. He doesn't trust the police and beats up just about anyone. By the end, he learns to work with the police to fight corruption and becomes a little bit nicer. Just a little bit. Think about it this way. Does Arkham Asylum's story have any character development? No. Does Arkham City have any character development? No. I'm not afraid to admit that this might be my favorite story out of all the Arkham games. Yeah, I said it. Shoot me. The voice actors for Joker and Batman are no Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, but they're still good at their jobs. The bosses are challenging and fun, with the Deathstroke boss in particular being my favorite boss in the franchise. The new gadgets are cool, and the crime scene recreation mechanic is awesome. I honestly don't understand why so many people dislike Arkham Origins. I understand having some criticisms with it, but dismissing the whole thing? What? Maybe people dismiss it because it wasn't developed by Rocksteady? I don't know. Personally, I love this game, and I think it's underrated.
This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero. Call home.
Putting this at top may bring people back to my side. Please don't hate me. Arkham City works because it expands upon what made Arkham Asylum good and fixes on Asylum's flaws at the same time. There are more gadgets, the combat is updated, it has a bigger scale, a better story, and there are more Batman villains. When thinking of flaws with Arkham City, I can only think of things so small they're not worth bringing up. I hear that Joker's death is divisive, but I love it. My favorite moment in the Arkham franchise. I like how Joker goes out of his way to find a cure for a sickness, only to cause his death by stabbing Batman, and Batman drops the cure in response, causing Joker's death. It's so ironic. Batman has a moral dilemma with himself. Should he save Joker and allow him to kill more people, or let him die and end Joker's reign of terror? Then Joker screws himself, and Batman reveals that he would have saved Joker, keeping true to Batman's character. Then Joker died as he lived, with a smile on his face. It's then followed by Batman carrying Joker's body through Arkham City. The music in the background is haunting and fits the mood beautifully, and Batman's mysterious silence is icing on the cake. And playing as Catwoman is cool too. The theme tune is epic, and the world's greatest detective aspect of Batman's character is used well in the game, as the story revolves around the mystery of Protocol 10. This is a good example of a video game sequel done right. My favorite Arkham game. So that was my personal ranking of the Batman Arkham games from worst to best. Some people are definitely going to heavily disagree with this list, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as they're not a brat about it. If you feel like it, let me know how you would rank the Arkham games worst to best in the comments below. With that said, that's all for me for today, so come by next time. Can't wait to see you there. Until then, EV out.